This is the J.R. Hendrix, ladies and gentlemen. The podcast that deals with the early life of J.R. Hendrix. Done the best player in a narrated format. Welcome to the podcast where we fight over a family, the deed to the family condo, and try to duck the tabloid press. With me, as always, or almost always, is my alter ego, J.R. Hendrix. J.R., I tell you, it's good to go on this ride, this momentous, because as we know, few episodes in this Socratic summer season, between season 5 and season 6, is it's over. And I think we know why, and well, it's a good fitting end to this season, because, well, quite frankly, what choice do we have but to have the beginning of the end of this summer season with a bang? This episode is called, Is Jimi Hendrix the Most Bombarded Administrator? Part 2. You know, if the main theme is about the family condo, JR, why does it become more about your father? Well, let's just say that this story introduces what I see as a problem with the cult of celebrity in our, shall I call it, degenerate culture in the media on both sides of the aisle, I might add. And, of course, I don't know if there was ever really any battle in real life in your multiverse, Jimmy. I don't think that there was some budget battle in 96. I never heard of it. If there was no, shall we call it, danger of a government shutdown. But I guess we just go ahead and get right into it. Because the sooner we get into it, the meat and potatoes of this, the better off we're going to be. While meanwhile in the Ritmo land, Kel Elizabeth will read there. Alright, JR is going to read his intro notes. Friday in the morning, the 26th, Daddy flew with his dream team for a rally in Chicago and found out that Mama was going to be joining him. That morning, Uncle Isaac flew first to St. Paul and then onward to Billings. During the time Daddy's rallying and time with Mama that Saturday, I spent time with Jim Bob Horton. And together, we prayed for those impacted by the Atlanta terrorist bombing. On Sunday, Mike Mary Fields took us all to a Baptist church, minus Ken and Christine. Okay, so now it's 1 p.m. the 29th. From his office, Jim is working on some administrative matters after the rally in Chicago. He decided to send his dream team on a 3.5-week vacation, accepting his exit team. It had been tough for Jim. Arriving back from Chicago, Gordon Deckard pointed out an article by Catherine Baird, who interviewed Norma Sanders, who speculated that his wife Betsy was not with him because of his quote-unquote many affairs. That woman was just ditzy, if not downright petty and ugly. I agree. 3 p.m. Central. So we cut to the ranch. Betsy had been working on some guides on the sending of 29 Angus cattle to an auction in Austin, with Thomas and Rachel going, leaving little Thomas with his maternal grandmother. Thomas is always going somewhere those days. 9 p.m. Eastern. Jim falls asleep in the Dream Team lounge, listening to songs, some soft classical piano music that he had received from his father-in-law in 1976 in order to soothe JR. Turns out it was soothing him because of the whispering campaign against him had started again. Okay, so now we're at the 30th. It's 5 a.m. And back at the ranch, Betsy and Mike Fields are supervising some ranch hands loading 30 cattle for an auction in Junction. All right, now it's 6:30 a.m. and Lake Thomas. Kevin McDonald drives the boat with JR, Elizabeth Marie, Bobby, Ken, and Christine are going fishing. Betsy had sent cinnamon rolls and French toast for everybody for breakfast. And so Gerald says, Kevin, help me reel this thing in. Mercy sakes alive. Looks like I got me a 6-pound crappie. And Kim says, one of these days, you need to learn how to bait the hook. And Gerald says, don't do that ever since I got my finger caught on the trout mine of Lake Texoma 12 years ago. And Gerald says, and he says, Daddy called me crybaby, but Mama nursed it pretty good. And he said, hey, Kevin, put some pretty good Christian music on for us. Okay, so now it's 10 a.m. at the EAA building. Jim is working alongside Carol Stringer and John Sestina, knowing how to answer questions in the press conference today at the EAA building conference room. Monday had also been a rough day for Jim because when the Atlantic Daily criticized Jim for being behind the battle of the budget, and that Betsy was in no way behind her husband because of his many affairs. Kind of makes me wonder if Catherine Baird was behind that. Well, Catherine Baird was not a part of Atlantic Daily. However, I think I heard tell that she often sent her editorial notes to them to cover a story. What was the Atlantic Daily? No more than just a tabloid newspaper. Drinking some Pepsi to pass the time. Now, so now it's 1 p.m. Central. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, JR is playing checkers with Ken. Ken McDonald, Amy Kathleen, Greg, Bobby, Elizabeth Marie, and Christine were horseback riding. Okay, so it's 3 p.m. Jim goes before the press to answer some key questions, some of it regarding the whispering campaign against him by certain members of the Clinton administration. Again, Jim sharply criticized President Clinton and both parties in Congress. It's obvious, it's about the battle of the budget and blocking his legislation. Okay, so it's 3 p.m. Central. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, JR's listening to the Blake Carter show with his father, 3:30. In JR's room, he had just finished listening to part of the Blake Carter show when who should step in? Cousin Jessica. So I hear that you're fasting the rest of the day and begging Aunt Bessie to let you have the family condo, Jessica said. Uncle Jim would be savage and pitiless if he don't let you have that condo. Dad says that condo rightfully belongs to you. And he ought to know. He contacted your granddad years ago. Okay, so here we go. It is 6 p.m. Eastern. White Castle in Washington, D.C. What's going on is Jim and them, and they're in the reception area with his team. Jack and Lucy Robertson. So Jim and the Robertsons are there, and the Deckards. And Constantine Bush walks out. All right, I'm going to do it in front of the air conditioner because I have to protect a little bit more, and I'm sorry about that. But Constantine Bush walks out and he says, "We have a 6-course dinner with you guys, along with some champagne and cigars. Dinner, of course. The cigars are among the boys after dinner. Jim, as you know, Jim and Carol Stringer, along with Blake Carter, are here. So now it's 6 p.m. Eastern. After having a Caesar salad, Jim and the guests are having a pork chop dinner along with cheesy garlic and mashed potatoes. The next course would be asparagus and rice with mushroom and mushroom gravy. The last 2 courses would be any choices of dessert. And so Constantine Bush says, Hillary is getting our place ready to go to Highland Park. We'll leave for back home on Friday, Constantine Bush said. Betsy is coming in 6 days from now, and damn, I am ready. But why some Clinton opportunists are criticizing me? I think it's pathetic, Jim said. And so what happens there is Blake Carter says only thing he seems to be focusing on now is the Olympics And the Atlantic bombing, of course, Blake Carter said. I know Norma Sanders was investigated and interviewed by the New York Examiner. Apparently, Bill Mayer's secretary, along with Congressman Bill Hume, okay, so Carol Stringer says, I know Norma Sanders was investigated and interviewed by the New York Examiner. Apparently, Bill Mayer's secretary, along with Congressman Bill Hume, blasting him for stupid stuff, even going after how he was raised, Carol Stringer said. And her husband speaks up. It's enough to make me pound my fist on my dining room table at home, her husband Jim said. The press just won't leave him alone, Constantine Bush spoke up. Me and Hillary campaigned all right at the time of the Olympics. But a little shade of PR, Jim said. I think that's what it is, Constantine Bush said. Anyway, in a couple of months, I wouldn't blame you if you just step down you send your letter of resignation to the White House, and he still ignores you. And Blake Carter says, he won't last forever. Because today, I helped him excoriate Clinton on the air. Okay, so it's 10 p.m. Eastern. In the sitting room near the Queen room of the White House. The president is conferring with James Carville. And Carville says, tell the press to leave Hendrix alone. Carville said, you don't need this dog and pony show. Why should I give in to this podunk idiot? Clinton said. I'm far more cultured than he'll ever be, the president said, putting a cigar in his mouth. Okay, fine, Carville said. Continue with this take pot shot. The press will soon turn on you as well. Bring it on. I'm ready for it. Okay, so this is kind of, and of course, it being a historical context and everything, I'm not going to give the president the belt, okay? Because that's not what we need to do. So we're July 31st, 1 p.m. At the EAA, Jim and Bill Mayer are running a managers meeting. Jim is still kind of miffed about his legislative meeting being canceled. So what does he do? During the managers meeting, he starts speaking about his legislation, what he wants in Congress and pass and everything. Even though it may not be popular, he just, can't blame him there. Now it's 3 p.m. Central. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, JR is in his room, screaming, crying, and praying. And Mike Fields goes to Betsy. Betsy, this has become unmanageable. He says, just give him the condo Friday. And Betsy starts crying. She says, and she's all determined. Jim says, hell no. And Mike says, and how long is this going to continue? He's been fasting off and on for 5 days now. I'm sorry, but this your husband has turned into a sociopath, not understanding the consequences of his action. So, Betsy starts to cry. I can't take this. He hasn't eaten anything since breakfast yesterday. And I beg him to eat, and he says no. Mary Fields spoke up. I gotta be honest. Your daddy purchased that condo in 64 to handle business and family business up in Lubbock. He wrote in a codicil, added to his will, that if JR went to Texas Tech and he needed the condo, that he must have it. And Mike Field says, all right, don't forget that. The thing that your daddy always said is that family takes care of family. And Betsy's still crying. She said, Jim said no. And Mike Field said, well, listen to me. Mike and Mary Field say in unison, your father didn't lie. I have a codicil, so they show the codicil, and he proceeds to read the document. I, Jeremy Thomas Swain, hereby amend the conditions on the condo. Family takes care of family. And so that means that the condo must stay in the family. Thomas, You have established yourself well in El Paso, and you and your children are well to do. Betsy, you are faring well in the ranch, and therefore you will not fall off with Jim. Because, however, the condo is to go to someone that has been raised a swing gentleman. To that end, should JR decide to live off campus, despite any of your objections, the condo is to be handed over to him upon request. No exceptions. Okay, so it's 4 p.m. at the EAA. Jim Hendrix is, he's writing a memorandum to Mickey Cantor concerning, about the managers meeting, and also his concerns about the budget battle, saying that the Clinton administration should go beyond manageable cuts and work together with Congress. And he also writes about his literary recommendation. And of course, yesterday, CBNC attacked him, and Betsy persuaded, and Betsy personally, and his brother Carl advised him to sue. Okay, so at 7 p.m., we come to the ranch, and everybody's having dinner. And, of course, no, all JR wants is cold water. JR, please try to eat something, Betsy says. Not until I get my answer, JR said. And Kevin McDonald says, Junior, try to eat something. Kevin McDonald said. And Mike Field said, let him, just let him fast, let him alone, he's going to get his answer from God. So it's 11 p.m. Eastern. Jim falls asleep on the sofa. Mary Fields had called him that evening to talk about giving JR the condo, and of course, he still says no. Jim. Oh, stubborn. The bell. I mean, yeah, come on, get schooled. JR wants a condo, okay? Give him the condo. Okay, so now it's 1 p.m. on the 1st at 14 Heritage Gate. Jim is taking a day off and sitting around the front lounge when a process server approaches him. James Ryan Hendrix? The woman said. Yes, ma'am. It is me, Jim said. And she shoves a document to him, and she says, this is a notice regarding the matter of your family condo. Thomas Swain, your brother-in-law, is suing, acting as power of attorney, requiring you to give the family condo over to your son, James Ryan Hendrix Jr., the woman said, walking away. And then Jim, of course, he's pissed. He's angry. Then frick JR, Jim screamed. I got the press all on my back. This is the last thing I need. That morning had been tough on Jim. Showing up to work, he found on the front page of the Atlantic Daily an article blasting his marriage to Betsy. Okay, so now it's 3 p.m. Central. So Carmen, back at the ranch, Carmen is packing Gerald's things. I'm not sure Daddy's going to even give me the condo. I don't know what to do. And Carmen says, I spoke with your aunt. You'll get the place for sure, Carmen said. So now it's 5:30 p.m. Brad's car pulled up in the driveway with Jim Bob up front. So JR climbs in. And Jim Bob says, I heard on the radio that your dad's getting sued. Said something about your family condo, Jim Bob said. I love my daddy, and I don't want to fight. But in this case, I think I damn sure will. I contacted Uncle Tom Tuesday. He said he was going to get a couple of lawyers to draft things for me. Okay, so it's 7 p.m. At Dr. Michelle's house, a surprise birthday party, early birthday party for Jim Bob is held, who would turn 26 the next day. And Dr. Michelle asked Brad and Jim Bob to pray that JR would get the family condo. Your dad certainly loves you. Just don't know how to show it. Maybe he'll finally get it and just give you the condo, Dr. Michelle said. Okay, so it's 8 a.m. Eastern. Jim calls Mike Fields at the ranch. Mike, what the hell? Jim fumed. You asked for it. Everyone in the Swain family knows about Jeremy's codicil. And so when JR called his Uncle Tom, Tom spoke to me, and I said, give him a condo. The hell with that. And Tom says, you and Betsy put yourself together, because Jeremy would be very ashamed. You want to challenge the codicil and the power of attorney? Be my guest, but you'll lose. big time. The presses in Washington are all over me. These budget battles got to go. I want my legislation passed. So, okay, fine. Give him the condo. You better hope I can convince Betsy. Because right now, Tom Swain is on the warpath. You guys don't want this kind of war. Okay, so it's 6:30 a.m. Central. At the ranch, everyone is sitting down for breakfast, except for JR. And the mood's very somber. Okay, 7... That earlier was about 8 p.m., actually. The gym called Nightfield. So it's 7 a.m. Eastern at 14 Heritage Gate. Jim is having breakfast when, surprise, surprise, Bill and Peggy Britley walked in. I'm here to help you with the bullcrap with the press, Bill said. But Jim, convince Betsy to give up the condo. In addition to being a businessman and a commentator, I'm also an attorney. This is not something you want to fool around with. So, you're going to have some family harmony. Okay, so 8 a.m. Jim had just got off the phone with Betsy. When he turns to his, it's 8:30 a.m., so he turns to his exit team. I tried to be firm with Betsy, but she's stubborn as hell. Says she has to see the legal document herself, Jim said. No offense, Jim, but in many ways you asked for it, Gordon Deckard said. You better hope that your wife changes her tune when she sees the document, or the press is going to be all over you. You know, I have to be honest, Bill Britley said. If you don't fix this today, Bill Clinton could be forced to fire you, and then you won't see any of your legislation pass in August. I still got one more card to play. I'm going to go ahead and call Eric August. He's my lawyer back home. And he's worked for Betsy a lot. She likes him. Okay, so it's 1 p.m. and it's like a motorcade of cars. Betsy, Mike, and Merrifield, the lead car. Carmen is driving JR and Kevin and Ken. 3:10 p.m. Main Street condominiums. Betsy and Mike Fields get out of the Mercedes with a scowl on their faces when the condo complex owner, Mike, approaches them. I don't want to have any trouble from you or the big guy. Settle this, Mike said. So, Betsy takes a key and opens the condo door as J.R. Mike Fields and some of the ranch hands load some of the new furniture into the condo. Now, Paul Baxter, a lawyer who works with Eric August, walks into the condo. Miss Betsy, this is a writ giving power of attorney over this property to Tom Swain. Now, once you sign over part ownership of this condo to your son, J.R., the power of attorney falls to you, Paul Baxter said. My son has a lot of nerve, Betsy said. If you have the document, I'll sign it. Okay, so outside the condo, Betsy and Mike Fields they're bickering, okay? It's like everybody can hear out in front of the condo them arguing. I was going to give the condo to Madison and Kyle, Betsy said. And Mike Fields is like pissed. Hey, stop, Mike Fields demanded. That's enough. And Mary runs over to defuse it. Honey, Kyle is settled down for the time being. But you mark my words, a year, maybe 2. He'll become a rolling stone, just like his father. At least J.R. is a little bit more like both sides of the family, Mike Fields said, hugging Betsy. Okay, and scene. Okay, first of all, a bell for Jim and Betsy each. I give this 3.6 Pepsis, a deed to the family condo, and a strategy meeting to fight the press. JR, I give this 3.6 root beers, a deed to the condo, and also a key to 14 Heritage Gate. That should be enough for us now. Hope you enjoy listening. If you like what you hear, please subscribe, become a part of the adventure. This is James Hendrix Empowerment Network saying until next time, get ready for the rest of the story. It gets a lot more calmer, but more interesting from here.